All right, so you're going to get a different feed coming through to you in one moment. I'm waiting for the computer to. Oh, there it is. Okay, now you've got me outside, and now I can switch this one off and that one on. So I hope you guys are still there. I'm going to pull up the story surrounding a black life that definitely mattered, and so here we go. Okay, so please stick with me here. Stick with me. Stick with me. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so the lady's name that we're going to talk about this week, um, her name is Lavina Johnson. And Lavina Johnson, uh, she was actually, I want to say, if my memory is correct, yeah, she served in the military even. So let me go ahead and tell you the story. And this story was is from the site Stories for Justice. There are several different sites that I have stories about some of the Black lives that have been taken away over the past a couple decades. And the reason that I want to do a couple decades is because people don't remember things for so long. We're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of having a limited memory bank, and because there's so much going on in the world today, nobody's fault. It's just the way that it is. We rely on our computers and our media and so on and so forth. So let me go ahead and read this to you, because she was a dear black woman whose life was taken away. So her story is that on July 19th, 2005, um, um, let's see, Lavina Johnson was a private E3 in the United States Army and serving in Iraq when she was found dead in her tent, which had been set on fire just 8 days before her birthday, her 20th birthday. Her death has been controversially uh, been ruled a suicide, despite suspicious circumstances and evidence of rape and battery. Her family wants her case reopened as the initial investigation into her death felt incomplete. Just 2 days before her death, Lavina called her mother with the good news that she would be able to come home early for Christmas. Her mother said she was her usual jubilant self, talking about how she was looking forward to decorating the tree. A quote: "When you come home, when you come and tell me my 19-year-old daughter didn't value life, and that's all she did, she valued all life," said her father. The official investigation was conducted by special agents from the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command. They conducted, they concluded that she shot herself in the mouth with an M16 rifle. This is someone who loved life and was looking forward to getting home for Christmas. The autopsy report and photographs revealed Johnson had a broken nose, a black eye,
Hey, you guys.
loose teeth. What the heck is going on?
I came back on my phone.
Hold on.
I had a little
Hold on a second.
situation that I had to deal with. I'm good.
Yikes! Sorry about that. Okay. So what was I saying? Shoot. Okay. So yeah. So she was looking forward to going home for Christmas. The autopsy showed that she had a broken nose, black eye, loose teeth, lacerations and burns from a corrosive chemical on her genitals, and a gunshot wound that seemed inconsistent with suicide. A trail of blood led out of her tent. The weapon that Johnson reportedly used to kill herself was a 40-inch M16. Johnson was only 5'1", which led many to believe her arms were too short to be able to pull the trigger on herself. If you know what an M16 is, it's a pretty long weapon. Uh, So additionally, the wound was on the left side of her head, and Johnson was right-handed. There was no suicide note. The bullet that killed her was not found. The military's own residue tests show no significant gunshot residue on her hands. The photos showed Johnson had bruises and scratches on the upper part of her torso. There were even teeth marks. I mean, come on, folks. Teeth marks, bruises, scratches, and you're going to say that she committed suicide? Her white dress gloves had been glued to her hands, concealing third-degree burns. A statement was written after her death by her company commander says the soldier was clearly happy and seemingly very healthy physically and emotionally. So even her commander said that. Lavina was 19. She grew up in uh, uh, Missouri with 4 siblings, daughter to Dr. John Johnson, a service veteran, and Linda Johnson. The family used to call her Squeaky. An honor student, Johnson decided to immediately enlist in the Army after high school because she wanted to follow her dad's footsteps. She wrote home frequently to update her parents on her experience. She played the violin and wanted to go to film school to become a movie producer or director. And then there's a picture of her in her fatigues, military fatigues. So, so it's another life that we lost. This time at the hands of someone, obviously in her military unit. There was bruises. They called it suicide, but she was shot on the left side of her head with a gun that would be too long for her to even shoot herself, even if she used her right side, her right hand. It also uh, there was bruises and teeth marks, scratches. Her gloves were glued to her hands um, that covered burn marks. Um, there was nothing consistent with suicide, um, and she had just had a conversation because she was going home early for Christmas, and she was happy uh, um, talking to her mom. So, but that even aside, all of the physical evidence shows that she may have been raped and beaten before murdered. So these are the things that happen um, to black folks every single day. And again, I'm not saying that they don't happen to white folks too or other nationalities, but it is more common of an occurrence in the black community and brown community ever since the beginning of time. You know what I'm noticing too? I'm noticing people coming on here, and the minute I mention black and brown, all of a sudden they log off. And I'm wondering if that's called conviction or denial. Which one? Because it can't be, uh, I have something so pressing to do because you logged on in the first place. Look, I'm not here to dissuade people from coming on the show. I'm not here to dissuade people from tuning in and following the things that I'm trying to express. I want the conversation to continue, and I want people to face this thing. There is a very disparaging um, 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 factor in being black in America and being brown in America, which has gone on since the beginning of time, uh, um, or at least in as it refers to this country since its inception, um, way back when. So I don't see anybody commenting. Um, I'm not sure um, why that is, but I do appreciate you, even if you're just looking, and I appreciate that. Um, it's awesome that you're taking part, even by listening. I hope that you guys will, in turn, share this with friends and family. I hope that you got something out of it, and please make sure that you go back and look at the first hour and I think it was about 15, 20 minutes. I had a little incident that I had to deal with in respect to my chronic Lyme disease. It's been a tough week or two. And also, you guys, please keep in mind that I am needing at least $10 donations or more if you can afford it, um, uh, so that I can get the stellate ganglion blocks. They are shots that go in through the front of the neck, part, a little bit to the side, to the front of the neck. But it's a little different than a regular shot, and it puts medicine all through down your spine area, wherever they're trying to reach. And these shots help reduce the pain. I have to do them twice a month, and I am tapped out of resources at this point. And so I'm asking that anybody who can please give $10 or more. I have a special friend who wanted to be anonymous, who is going to match every $10 or more donation up to $1,000. So that's a blessing. So if you guys can pitch in $10 here, $10 there, and then my friend matches that up to $1,000, then I will be good to get 2 months worth of these shots, these procedures, because it's not just a shot. So please do that. I'm going to keep posting about it, and please look it up if you need to know anything about it. It's called a stellate, STELLATE, ganglion, GANGLION, block, BOLCK. And this is necessary for me to try to reduce pain, some of the debilitating pain that I go through from my Lyme disease, muscle nerve pains all through my body, and these horrible headaches that I have every day that cause me to have to wear these dark, dark glasses. They are prescription glasses, and they are so that the light sensitivity doesn't kick my butt, because the headaches are just already overwhelmingly horrible. But anyways, I thank everybody who tuned back in. Again, hey, P God, what's happening? Love you, cuz. I did a whole hour and about 15-20 minutes earlier, and then I had to take a break because of how I'm feeling, and sometimes I have to do that. So, but God is good, and I came through it. Please, P God, make sure you get that information together for me so I can get you on here, do an episode with me. All right. Love you, man. Um, but yeah. So please help me with the shots. Please tune in, have the conversation with your friends and family. Um, let's nip this racism, this hate thing, this evil thing that is just festering within our country. Let's nip this thing in the bud, man. Let's get rid of it. Let's just be like one love for real. Let's work to rid this country of all things that equal hate, and let's love on black people. Can we? Can we love on me some? Can we love on all my other black brothers and sisters? Can we please do that? And can we please acknowledge these things, acknowledge the past, acknowledge the things that need to be fixed, acknowledge that seats are needed at the table, acknowledge that one president that's black and one woman that is Secretary of State is not enough, that we should have just as equal opportunities to hold offices and hold elected offices and hold CEOships and CFOs and managerial and access to loans for businesses, and access to better education, better technology, better internet, better housing, better for low income housing, better and more funding through urban cities and underserved neighborhoods. We just need to do better. We need to do better for all of the lives in this country, but especially black lives who have been ignored for so long. Remember, this is since slavery. When your Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the National Anthem, all these things came to be, we were not even treated as human beings. We were not respected as equals. We were not allowed to vote. We were not allowed to have input into articles and laws and politics, and our opinions didn't matter. We couldn't drink out of the same water fountains. We were slaves. We were murdered. Our families were torn apart. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and it still goes on today. Our black brothers and sisters are still getting murdered. Our black brothers and sisters are still getting oppressed. We're still getting shunned from jobs. We're still losing out on better education, better community service, better treatment by medically and by police and by the judicial system, where the sentences that are handed out to people who do crimes, and black and brown people who do crimes, are 4 to 5 to 10 to 15, 20 times the average of what white folks are sentenced to for the same exact crimes. These are not opinions. These are facts. These are facts you can Google easily. Okay? All I'm trying to do is be a vessel to get some of this information and some of the guidance to you guys. And again, if you have things that you want to add to the conversation, if you have comments or opinions, questions, whatever you have, if you want to say something, if you want to express something, if you want to talk about a racial scenario that you've been through, if you want to tell me why you're a Klan member, if you want to tell me why you hate, if you want to tell me why you love, if you want to tell me what you do understand or don't understand, if you want to talk to me, join the show and have a conversation about anything that has to do with racism, that has to do with inequality, that has to do with um, with oppression of black and brown people in this country, or if you think that none of it exists, if you think that it's all fake and phony and people are playing a race card, tell me why. Tell me why you believe that. Tell me why you think that. Let's have the conversation. The conversation is the first part to correction. The conversation is first, and then we take those things that we converse about and we swish them around in our mind and we process them, and hopefully we do better from that. And then we take those processes and we turn them into actions to help black people and brown people, that white folks stand with us, not against us, and that we march together, not separate, that we fight together, not each other, that we kill this thing called racism. We stop trying to cover it up. We stop trying to straddle the fence, but we hit it head on, acknowledge it, and knock it out of our society. Because there is no place for racism in God's America, in God's people, in all God's people that breathe breath. There is no room for racism. If you believe that there is, then you're looking at the wrong Bible or the wrong book. It's not the good book, it's the bad book if you're seeing anything that has to do with racism, because black Jesus or brown Jesus was not white. And so, because of that, that tells you that he would not he would not sign off on or or um, or or preach or go along with or spout, tout, or anything else racism. As a matter of fact, God said what? He said, love your neighbors. That's everybody. He didn't say love your white neighbors. He didn't say love your brown neighbors. He didn't say love your red neighbors, yellow neighbors, any other kind of colors of skin, whatever. He didn't say love just them. He said love your neighbors as I love you. That means he's telling you to love your neighbors like he loves you. That's an undying, never changing, non discriminating love. That is a love everybody that he created, everybody that he gave breath, no matter what hue, no matter what quote unquote nationality or race or creed. He says, love your neighbors, all of them, as he loves you. Not just one, not just 100, all of them. What is there, 44 million people or 44 billion people? I don't know what the number is. It's a heck of a lot of people down here. And I'm telling you that God says we are to love all people, all of our neighbors, as he loves us. You cannot choose and pick and choose. You cannot do that. That's not godly. So if you or the person that sits in the Oval Office or anybody else discriminates against a people, that means that you are discriminating against God's children. If you are a racist against a people besides yourself or your own quote unquote color or kind, as people say, then you are not obeying God, because God says love all your neighbors. God says love all your neighbors, not some, not the choice few, not the people who make you comfortable, not the people who give you free passes to a game, not the people that bake you a cake, not the people that sit next to you in your cubbyhole at work, not the people that know all of all your neighbors. He even says, love those who despitefully, what's the word, deceive you. And I mean, come on, man. God, he spells it out. He says, everybody. He doesn't say love just one group or one color of people. He doesn't say just love one attitude of people. He doesn't say just love one sound or walk or height or any. No, he says love your neighbors unequivocally all. Okay, so let's start doing that. Let's start obeying number one of God's rules. First, honor Him before anything else. Over all, have no other god before Him. No idols, no false images. But let's also love our neighbors. That is the first thing that is preached before you're supposed to practice that, even before you are learning scriptures good. You're supposed to my daughter said you're supposed to love your neighbors, all, everyone, the people that you meet each day, like Mr. Rogers. Was that Mr. Rogers? People that you meet each day. The people that you meet when you're walking down the street, they're the people that you meet each day. That is what you're supposed to do. Love all those people that you meet or don't meet each day. Everybody that breathes air. If I explained it deep enough, I hope so. If I explained it in its completion, I hope so. Um, my aim through this is to help um, uh, create a bridge where we can all meet in the middle and we can conquer this hate thing. My mom is white and my dad's black, and we went through pure hell a lot of times, but they also saved us from some things. But to know, things from this perspective is definitely different, um, because there were times when we were in all black neighborhoods that we were shunned. There were more times that we were in predominantly white neighborhoods and we were shunned, um, and because we were light skinned, called Oreo, called half breed, called um, I mean, obviously the N word, and so on and so forth, and it's striped. What are you? Uh, you don't belong anywhere. All these things that we went through, and then um, I was always black to police officers and getting harassed and so on, and even till not too long ago. So these things are not these things are not a joke. These things are not made up. This is real life that we have to live every day. Have a sit down talk with a black person who has suffered this. There's many near you. I'm sure you work with black folk that have been through this. I'm sure that you live near black folk that have dealt with this. I'm sure that your kids go to school with black folks that have dealt with this. Um, you probably have a million options of people that you can talk to that can that can that can verify um, that this actually happens. that we are actually experiencing this. 51 years, almost 52, I have experienced this. This is not made up. This is not imaginary. The deaths aren't imaginary. The oppression isn't imaginary. The slavery wasn't imaginary. The hangings from trees for voting wasn't imaginary. The hangings and lynchings just because you're black, just because someone is black, is not imaginary. The murders, chokeholds, the 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 shootings unnecessarily by the element of police that are bad is not imaginary. Um, uh, Racism is not an imaginary, made-up thing. It exists, and as I said, even though school books don't spell it out all of the truths to slavery, but there are certain bits of it in there, and so even that should tell you that this is a real thing. And so, you know, unlike when I was growing up, uh, everybody just wanted to deny it and didn't want to listen to us. And every time you say something, it's called playing the race card, when all you're trying to do is express what you're going through to your friends so that maybe, just maybe, your friends might help you, might stand with you, might back you up, might stand behind you as protection. In other words, have your back. And it was a hard thing to ever get out of anybody um, growing up. Everybody's been in denial, as some people still are. Thank God, with the new generation of kids coming up, um, they're a little bit more quote unquote woke, and a lot of white folks and other ethnicities are out there marching with us. Not talking about the people that are doing bad things. I'm talking about the thousands and thousands of excuse me, of peaceful protesters, and and so people are getting on the track. But it's the older folks, the folks my age, maybe upper 30s and beyond, who are still holding on to this unreal belief that none of this stuff existed, that it's all fake, or as that guy that sits in the thing says, that it's all fake news. And it's not fake news. I have scars on my body to prove that it's not fake news. And many, many hundreds and thousands of people that I know have endured the same thing. And we didn't even endure it the worst as some of our grandparents, great grandparents, and those before us. But it's still incredibly ugly. It's still incredibly scary when you have to wake up and prepare yourself for what will happen if you get stopped by the police, or what will happen if you end up in a neighborhood broke down where it's you know a redneck racist country, or what happens if your child um, gets encountered because your father is black, and somebody starts picking on them and calling them names, and we have to prepare them with how to deal with that, like I had to do for my daughter. White folks, you don't have to do that. Everybody has to learn certain things, the basic principle things, to prepare them for not getting in trouble. But I'm talking about preparing your children for um, for for getting into trouble unnecessarily. In other words, you don't do anything, but you still get picked on, messed on, hurt, or killed. These are the things that I have to walk through, and had to walk my daughter through. And we still have these conversations on the phone today, and she's almost 25. So, um, so this is real. Racism, systemic racism, it's real. It's real. If you don't believe me, turn on any news, turn on any computer, Google, book, go on Amazon, buy some books, um, not by just black people, but written by white folks. Um, the Ku Klux Klan is real. The white Aryan Nation groups and the white uh, um, right wing whatevers. They're that are white nationalists that hate black people. That's real. These things are real. They're real. Look, I still go through it. When I do get to go to when my aide comes around, who's paid for by the county, when she comes around to take me to maybe to the Walmart for shopping if I feel good enough, or wherever I might have to go, um, it still goes on. I still encounter people. I was at the gas station in this is just in June. I was in the gas station and picking up something, and a guy walks in. I got my mask on, and I'm standing near the counter to get something, and this guy who comes in not wearing a mask, and just because I turned around, and I wasn't even turning around for any reason except to make sure he wasn't standing right up on me, and when I turn around, this guy wants to start calling me names and wanting to fight and so on. I'm not gonna do this. I mean, probably couldn't do it as well as I'd want to because of my condition with the chronic Lyme disease and all. But still, the point is that it's still happening. It is still happening, folks. Help us kill this disease, this inhumane disease called racism. Let's kick it in the word ASS. Let's kill this thing, man. Let's work together. But white America, my white friends, it starts with you guys. It literally does. Because we already try to speak up for ourselves. But without you guys acknowledging and helping us, it takes so much longer. We got one president after 43 others at the table. We had one black woman senator who's now VP. Before it took before and a couple more since then. But do you see what I'm saying? The tables are not set equally. There is not equal access. People that say, and I say it sometimes too. We say we can be whatever we want to be. That's not actually true. Not in this America. Not in this America. Can we work hard enough and some of us get there? Sure. But is there equal access for us just as much as is for white America? And the answer to that is no, unequivocally no. There's nothing that anybody can show to substantiate the fact to say that, or try to claim that we have as much access to advancement in any system, in any system in this country. There's no way that you can say that there is equal access for us. Impossible to say it. It's apparent because of the amount of us at the table now. Do you think that the few folks that are black and brown that sit at those seats at the table, the few and far between, one here, one there, do you think that those are the only people who are attempting and working their butts off to get to those places? Absolutely not. There are millions of kids throughout time who have grown up wanting to be the head of a company, working to be the head of a company. One of my nieces right now just graduated recently, Bethany. Um, she graduated. Um, what do they call that thing? This top student thing for Somerville High School. She's black. It's not a regular occurrence. But she's not the only black person that's worked that hard. Man, and she looks like my daughter too. She looks white, even though she's black. I don't know how she talks to people and how she expresses who she is, but I know probably many people because her dad is on her Facebook and other um, um, media too. So they must know. But again, I know what my daughter does and how she definitely claims her blackness, and that's freaking awesome. But you know, it's still just it's not a given that we have access to seats at the table. Manufacturing, medical, political, judicial, um, any arm of government, heads of police or heads of firemen. Look, that's in the movies. Like some of those movies, there's always a black person that's the captain or the sergeant or whatever. That's not real, and that's not saying that there's none. There's far fewer than there should be. That's the point, you know. And CEOs of companies, CFOs of companies. Come on. I told you guys earlier, there finally is a president of football operations in Washington. The team that used to call themselves the Redskins, that now is called Washington Football Team, because they haven't figured out a new logo or what do you call that, mascot, um, because after getting rid of the offensive Redskins name that they used to use. And so, but they have now a black, I posted it early this week, they have a black man that is the president of their football organization now, which is freaking amazing. But that's only one. How many football teams are there? Do you see my point? I hope you see my point. We don't have equal access. We need equal access. We deserve equal access. Just as much, we deserve just as much access as any other person who breathes air. If we are positive, if we are productive citizens, as most of us are, if we are um, um, not just positive in the community, positive parents, positive people as a whole, we should be able to um, be equally in the runnings for any position in this country. And it shouldn't be told to us in somebody's fake judgment seat that we're supposed to be happy because we had one black president. That we're supposed to be happy because there's now one black woman elected VP for the Democratic Party. We shouldn't be told that we're supposed to be happy and content because one of some position has been given or awarded or earned slash given to a black man, woman, or youth. That it defies all common sense and logic, because we don't do that to you. You don't have to fight because you don't have somebody at the table. You guys complain when we talk about um, um, what do they call this? Affirmative action, which only was trying to, in some places, when it was done properly, was only trying to level out the college admissions to some extent and the access to scholarships and so on. But, and you cry about that, and white people cry about that. So we're supposed to just not have an equal say or an equal chance? Because it wasn't coming to us before. So people were fighting to get that enacted so that we'd actually have more access. But you don't want that. You should look in the mirror. That should be a problem to you. Do you know what I'm saying? This is America. This is what goes on in this country, and it's not a joke. It's not me making it up. Um, this is really what America does, and it's sad that we are limited so much by other people's opinions or white America's um, 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 uh, um, white America's idea of how things are supposed to be, because that's how it began. And then you deny that you do it, but yet it's right in front of your faces that it's done. I mean, Google CFOs of companies, Google CEOs of companies. Google the qualifications of the people that have those positions, and then Google the amount of black and brown Americans that have those same qualifications. Now tell me why those people aren't in the runnings for those jobs too. Not even considered. This is not fake. I'm not making it up. It's not for attention. We don't want that kind of attention, just so you know. Anybody who thinks this is just something we want to do, trust me, there's many things that I wish I was doing instead of this if I felt if I didn't feel convicted to do it. I could be I could be resting. I could be um, instead of having to, and I love the research that I'm doing, but instead of having to do so much of it and answer hundreds of messages a week and try to go back and forth with folks, engage in these conversations where they're just being hateful and nasty. Instead of doing that, I probably would love to have just nice conversations too. I would probably love all of that. But it comes with the territory in order to make a dent and a mark in society. And so I do this because I'm loving on you so that you'll love me back and that you'll love black people back. I am doing the first steps to helping us heal from this platform. Not the first steps, period, but first steps from me. And all I'm doing is asking you guys to understand it, my white friends, and the white folks that don't like me or don't like black people. I'm asking you to do your part too, to understand fully what this country was built off of, what this country was founded on, principle wise, and who was involved in those principles, understand how it is carried on all these hundreds of years, and then acknowledge it, and then do better. And like I said before, I challenge all my white friends to do me a favor and do something for black people today. Love on some black people today. Stand with some black people today. Support some black people today. Let's get it done. Now, again, before I leave, I just want to remind you, please give to my. I'm raising the money for my shots. Well, they're not called shots. They're stellate ganglion blocks, and they are a type of procedure where they put this needle and this long thing into your through the front of your neck, and they put medicine through your spine, around in nerves and so on areas, to help reduce pain. It's like a 30 to 40 minute process, and I have to have it done twice a week. Is the last option that I have to help reduce some of the debilitating pain that I go through every single day. So I'm asking you to please donate at least $10 to this cause. There's three links that you can go to. You can go to my Cash app, which is the cash sign. You know that thing. It's green, and it's my user thing or whatever is at Obi Allegra in capital letters. You can go to Venmo. My thing there is Augustus-Morant. That's AUGUSTUSMORANT. And then you can go to PayPal, which is my email address, OBIEALLEGRA. You punch that in, and then you can give. Again, if anybody gives $10 or more, I have a friend that supports me and has been doing awesome things for me. And this person wants to remain anonymous, but was told to me this week that that this person will match every $10 or more donation up to $1,000. So I am asking, I am begging, I am pleading with you to please help. There is no way for me to get extra money right now. Everything is going to bills and everything else I have saved up already. That's going to then meet the money that 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 you guys hopefully donate, which will allow me to get 2 months worth of these shots, which is 2 each month. So that's 4 shots, and it's expensive, believe it. And this is something that I'm going to have to do every couple months, or every month I have to do it, but I'm going to have to raise more money every couple months to get this done. So I just ask you guys to please, please be gracious, be loving, help me out with that, because I definitely would love to have some less painful days. It's not going to take it all away, but it will help some. I just saw somebody log off, so I don't know if that meant that, well, that person is done with the giving or not interested in that. But uh, anyways, I guess that's the way it goes. Or maybe the person got offline because that person is going to give. That would be awesome too. Anyways, I love you guys. Be positive. Help black folks. Be an anti-racist. Anti, that means not racist. That means get out there and be a an active anti-racist. That means be an active fighter against racism. That means please help black folk with this plight to end racism in America. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Until then, um, be loving. Like I said, love on your black folks, friends, neighbors. Love on all your neighbors too, but love all your black folk friends and neighbors and co-workers and have conversations with black folks and find out, ask people about the struggle and learn about it. You don't have to take my word for it. You can use Google and any other resources you want to and any other folks you want to. But please know that this is real. We're trying to fight this thing. We're trying to make this an equal society. And hopefully one day it will be that. Until Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Wednesday, take care of yourself and others. And I'll see you Wednesday, 7 p.m. Same black time, same black channel. Good night.